The Gospel reading is taken from Luke. Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. Her neighbours and relatives heard that the Lord had shown his great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. On the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him Zechariah after his father. But his mother said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "None of your relatives has this name." Then they began motioning to his father to find out what name he wanted to give him. He asked for a writing tablet and wrote, "His name is John." And all of them were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue freed, and he began to speak, praising God. Fear came over all their neighbours, and all these things were talked about throughout the entire hill country of Judea. All who heard them pondered them and said, "What then will this child become? For indeed the hand of the Lord was with him." The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the wilderness until the day he appeared publicly to Israel.
John's story began with wings. The angel Gabriel was about to get very busy. First, he appeared to an old priest called Zechariah, and some months later to a teenager called Mary. The circumstances of John the Baptist's birth have similarities to the nativity of Jesus. There's a miraculous child and a name given. So why does John warrant a special feast day to remember him today? Well, he was the man chosen to prepare the way for the one who said later, "I am the way." John is an enigmatic figure, but what we do know about the story of his life is that a barren woman brought forth a forerunner to the Messiah, a mute priest brought forth a herald of God, and a desert brought forth the crown of the prophets. As an adult, bony and strident in the mud of the Jordan, John the Baptist stirred up the water, and he stirred up the Spirit. He announced, "God is coming very soon to do something about the evil in the world, so get ready." Our church building is named after John the Baptist, and I wonder, as we remember his story, what do we do with that story? As a community, how are we carrying on the essence of the man and his mission? In the desert places of our lives, do we see ourselves as divine messengers, preparing people to meet God? As you imagine John, what aspects of his story matter to you and intertwine with your story? I always imagine John the Baptist in black and white, an uncompromising figure striding through any wilderness, pioneering a path for Jesus, who would bring the full freedom of colour. The Eastern Orthodox churches see him slightly differently. They have not just one feast day to celebrate him, but 6. On their icons, he is often described as the angel of the desert. His special nativity, like his good news, keep echoing and spiralling through time. And to symbolise his status as a divine messenger, on his back is depicted something rather unusual. Because for Orthodox believers, John's story continued with wings. Amen.